Where is that? Where is that shirt? Wait, what is that? No! What's up, geeks, nerds, odd line between? I'm just a common fan back with a new video, and today we're covering another one of my 5 favorite Marvel movies as we continue to celebrate the MCU leading up to the release of Infinity War this week. Actually, it's tomorrow. As of the posting of this video, I will be seeing it tomorrow. The first showing in my area, 7 p.m. Can't wait. But before we get there, we have to give ourselves an honorable mention in the MCU, a movie that didn't make my top 5, but it's probably definitely in my top 10, and that is the movie Iron Man. The original Iron Man from 2008, starring Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Terrence Howard, one of my favorite actors of all time, Jeff Bridges, and Happy Hogan himself, the director of the movie as well, Jon Favreau. I thought this movie was incredible. Such a good origin story, has so much action, has such a great story, really sets up Tony's motivation throughout the entire Marvel cinematic movies going forward. And I really feel like it was just such a great movie from beginning to end. And then, of course, the ending was classic. You got the debut of Phil Coulson. You got the Tony Stark coming out and saying, "I am Iron Man," and admitting to the world that he is Iron Man. You have the end credit scene with Nick Fury that set up the Avengers protocol, and it just set up the foundation for everything that we've been able to enjoy over the past 10 years with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A fact that Robert Downey Jr. never lets Marvel or Disney forget when it comes to that paycheck and that spot on the poster. But I really love the original Iron Man movie. I saw it like 4 or 5 times in theaters. I absolutely love it. I watched it tons of times on video. I mean, it is definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time, but it did not make my top 5. And today, I'm giving you a little hint of what we're talking about today. And if you're thinking to yourself, what does a blue 80s themed MTV little leopard print shirt have to do with any of the Marvel movies? Well, today we're talking about Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, the reason I'm wearing this 80s inspired t-shirt is because Spider-Man Homecoming to me has so much 80s influence within the movie, from Ferris Bueller's Day Off to The Breakfast Club to, you know, so many other things that when I watch this, it puts me in the mind of the 80s, and I feel like they were served as influences for this movie. Now, I was born at the end of the 80s, so I didn't really get to enjoy the pop culture era and the pop culture phenomenons that came out in the 80s, but I am such a huge 80s kid at heart. Movies, television shows, comics, toys, you name it. I pretty much enjoyed it if it came out from the pop culture of the 80s, and this movie just gives me all of that, and I absolutely love it. The first thing I want to cover with this movie that I love is Tom Holland. Now, we first saw Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War, and he almost stole the show. His fight scenes were incredible. His exuberance of just being there and being in the moment with all these heroes that he's grew up watching was incredible. And the fact that Tom Holland is a legit Spider-Man fan just blew me away. Now, it did kind of make me upset that we have yet another Brit playing Spider-Man, but I got past it once I saw how just exuberant, how happy he was, how joyful he was about playing the character. The fact that he dressed up as Spider-Man as a kid for Halloween. The fact that he actually said in an interview before he was cast as Spider-Man that if he could ever play a superhero, he would like to be the next Spider-Man after Andrew Garfield, which came true for him, I think was absolutely incredible. So, Tom Holland as Spider-Man, great job. Peter Parker, the scenes of him as Peter Parker and him as Spider-Man were awesome. I love just the passion he showed, the pathos, the emotion that he showed. This movie was great. His comedic timing was really good with his friend Ned. How he lusts over Liz Allen, and I thought it was really funny. And also, I like, this is a side note, but we all know, if you're a comic book fan like I am, you know that Peter Parker is a pimp. Peter Parker is a pimp, okay? Peter Parker has had numerous women in the comic books, from Liz Allen to Betty Brant, both who are in this movie, to Mary Jane Watson, to Felicia Hardy, to Silk. to the one date he had with Carol Danvers that didn't go that well. I mean, Spider-Man has had a history of being pretty much a ladies' man in the comics, and so it was nice to see Betty Brant have a cameo in here and Liz Allen be in here. I can't wait to see what other. Oh, I forgot Gwen Stacy. I mean, we can't forget about Gwen Stacy as a previous Spider-Man love interest. So I can't wait to see who they kind of introduce in the following movies with Spider-Man. Yeah, Tom Holland was great, and I think like I said, he played so well. The scene in the car with Michael Keaton. How good was Michael Keaton in this movie? Michael Keaton is such a good actor, but him in this movie as the Vulture, he owned it. He absorbed this character. He was this character. He was terrifying, and I also loved it because they really set up his story very well in the beginning of the movie, as well as showing how this movie ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where Michael Keaton is in charge of a cleanup crew, which wasn't Damage Control, but if you're a fan of Damage Control in the comic books, they are also in the Spider-Man movie, which I also love, with the mention of Damage Control. But his job is to clean up after these superhero attacks, and then he loses his job because Tony Stark starts Damage Control, and they're now in charge of cleaning up all the superhero debris that's left behind after the Avengers wrecked the place. And so he's just a man who lost his job. And in the current political climate that we're in now, where lots of people are losing their jobs for different reasons, I feel like I really bonded with his character immediately and said, man, I kind of understand why you became the Vulture and started stealing stuff, because you lost your job, and I understand why you hate Tony Stark, because he was the reason that you lost your job. But seeing Vulture, seeing the Tinkerer, seeing Shocker, actually two different versions of Shocker, it was great to see those other Spider-Man villains kind of get a cameo in the film. Well, not a cameo, I mean they were characters, but to see them placed into the film as well was awesome, because superhero movies in general, but especially Spider-Man movies, seem to have trouble of having too many villains, and so they were able to have the Vulture, the Tinkerer, the Shocker, but yet still the Prowler, technically, but still able to keep the focus on just the Vulture versus Spider-Man, which I really, really like. Michael Keaton was great, and then their interactions together, both as Vulture and Spider-Man, but then that scene where Peter shows up to pick up Liz for the homecoming dance, and then Liz's dad opens the door, and it's Vulture, and how Peter Parker, I mean, when I saw the movie in theaters, literally the air was sucked out of the room when the Vulture opened that door. And when Vulture figures out that Peter is Spider-Man, and they have that conversation in the car about how he's like, I could kill you right now, but you saved my daughter's life, and I can never repay you for that, so I'm saving your life now, but not killing you right now. But if you get involved in my business again, I will kill you, and I will kill everyone that you love. I was literally petrified at that moment. I was like, oh crap, I'm scared. Like, Michael Keaton, great job as Vulture. Zendaya as well, to me, stole the movie. Here's the thing, and spoilers if you haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, but you can go watch it. But I knew that Zendaya was playing Mary J. Blige. I knew Zendaya was playing Mary Jane Watson this entire time. The moment they cast Zendaya, I was like, you can call her Michelle, you can call her Francine, you can call her Janice. She's playing MJ. I don't know how they're going to make it work, but she's playing MJ. But yet, when they kept calling her Michelle, and she only showed up in the film periodically, although if you notice, she's only in scenes with Peter because she secretly has a crush on him, but she's in that mean girl phase where she's like, I like you, so I'm just going to make fun of you. But I thought Zendaya stole the show. This movie is also really, really quotable for me. I love when Peter and Ned show up to the party, and they're like, and Michelle over in the corner, she goes, I can't believe you guys came to this lame party. And they look over her and they're like, but you're here. And then she puts that like butter or whatever on that toast, and she goes, am I? Oh, am I? And then she just like walks away. I lost it. What else I love about this movie? Robert Downey Jr. I was kind of really scared that when they said that Iron Man was going to be in Spider-Man's movie, I thought that he would kind of steal the thunder from him a little bit, but he didn't. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. himself is probably in, 3 or 4 scenes of the movie, all of the scenes are strong and impactful. He has the kind of like the Uncle Ben role of inspiring him in this movie. I love how they worked in the line of, having Robert Downey Jr. tell him, like, can't you just be, a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? I thought that was really cool. And we never got the line of, with great power comes great responsibility, unless you watch the blooper reel from the movie, and then you'll see that line. But we get an even better line where Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark looks at Peter and he goes, "If you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it." Classic. Then the ending where Happy and Tony bring Spider-Man to the new Avengers compound. They have his room ready. He's going to be rooming next to Vision. And then we see the Iron Spider suit, which I have to say I'm not a huge fan of. Maybe I'll be a fan of it whenever Spider-Man is wearing it in Infinity War. But we see Tony try to give the suit to him, and he refuses it. He's like, somebody has to fight for the little guy. I'm going to stay here and, do my thing for now. And then maybe I'll join the Avengers later when I'm ready. And then we see the return of Pepper Potts. We get some little hint of the fact that Tony may be about to propose to Pepper Potts, which is cool. And so, this movie was just great. I mean, from Tom Holland as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man. I forgot to talk about how I loved Marissa Tomei as a younger version of Aunt May. Michael Keaton's the Vulture. Zendaya's Michelle/MJ. And then the return of Pepper Potts, Happy Hogan, Tony Stark. I mean, it's just such a great movie. And I really think that Spider-Man's role in the MCU should be as a fan. Like, this is what would happen if one of us fans got superpowers and got to hang out with the Avengers. Of course, we'd be texting them all the time and calling them and say, "Hey, do you need my help? Hey, is there a mission I can do? Hey, I get out of school today at 3:15. Is there anybody I need to help you save?" Like, that's exactly, I feel like, what I would do if I had powers. So anyway, Spider-Man is in my top 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Spider-Man Homecoming, that is. I absolutely love it. But what do you guys think? Give me your comments down below. What do you think about Spider-Man Homecoming? What do you think of Spider-Man Homecoming compared to the Amazing Spider-Man run with Andrew Garfield, or even the Spider-Man run with Tobey Maguire, which is the one that I grew up on? What do you guys think? Where does Spider-Man Homecoming rank on your Mount Rushmore of Marvel movies? Let me know down below. Make sure to like, comment, share this video. Make sure to subscribe if you like it, and hit that bell notification where you can be the first one to know about my new videos as soon as they're posted. Again, I'm so excited about Infinity War. I know you guys are as well. Thanks for the support. What do I know? I'm just a common fan. Hey, no, no.